The absence of point leader and defending champion Ben Kelly has left the championship wide open, and all eyes and heart are set in that direction. 2 weeks ago at the Mason-Dixon GNCC, Ricky Russell rose to the occasion. The big question is, can he keep it going in the mountains of West Virginia at Snowshoe today?
Are you ready to go? GNCC Racing!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to America's premier off-road racing championship, the 2022 GNCC Series presented by Specialized at AMA National Championship. I'm Rodney Tomlin, and today we come to you from Snowshoe Mountain Resort in the mountains of West Virginia at elevation 4848, the final race before the big summer break. And just 2 weeks ago, a little further north of here on the Mason-Dixon line, the state line of West Virginia and Pennsylvania, our riders went at it, and it was a doozy, folks, as the 739, the North Carolina Intimidator, Trevor Bollinger rises to the occasion and becomes the man to beat early on as he takes to the lead with Ricky Russell, along with Josh Toth, Jordan Ashburn, Josh Strang, and the rest of the crew following behind. We also saw back there buried a little bit was the 314 of Grant Baylor, who ended up having a good day on this day himself. Buried back in 7th place on lap number 1, he would have to fight his way and claw his way through the pack, where he eventually saw himself at about 4th place midway through the race. While he was climbing his way to the front, so was Jordan Ashburn, who had latched on as well. And this heated battle between Ricky Russell and Trevor Bollinger continued to wage on. Through lap 2, through lap 3, through lap 4, through lap 5, and finally on lap number 6, Ricky Russell got the break he was looking for and was able to stretch things out. Unfortunately for Bollinger, he dropped all the way back to the number 6 position, finishing several minutes back. Meanwhile, a little further back, it was the number 3 of Jordan Ashburn, who had secured himself as the number 3 position heading into the final laps of the race. But little did he know, he would get the opportunity to move into the number 2 position, and another thing he didn't know was the fact that the 314 of Grizzly Grant Baylor was on a tear. Baylor gets around the number 3 of Jordan Ashburn for a little while, but eventually it was Ashburn taking the number 2 spot behind this rider, the number 212 of Ricky Russell, taking his first win of the 2022 season and hopes of maybe securing the championship with the absence of Ben Kelly the rest of the year.
About time, that's all I can say. We rode good all day. Trevor was putting in heaters. I was trying to stalk him down. He had a little mistake right there going with one to go. He fell down. Man, I just knew I needed to do a one-lap sprint and put it all together on that last lap. Even though I had a big crash, I was worried, but then I got pit boards with the gap, so man, that feels good.
A big day on the Mason-Dixon line for Ricky Russell, as well as Grant Baylor, as he was able to secure second with Jordan Ashburn in third. Craig DeLong and Ryder Lafferty rounded out the top 5. Well, here we are at the Snowshoe GNCC, the roughest terrain on the tour, with a pavement live engine start paying homage to the Blackwater 100, which gave birth to the Grand National Cross Country Championship Series. The top 20 are on the first 4 rows, and unfortunately, Stu Baylor not a part of that. He actually outside the top 4 rows in the top 20 overall points at this juncture of the season. But here we go. Off on road number 1, looks like Craig DeLong is going to get the start on his Rockstar Husky. That is Jordan Ashburn back there, the number 2 spot. These riders are starting in about 10-second increments with time adjustment zeroing them out. So basically, you don't have to be in front of the guy ahead of you to beat him, as many of our top 20 are XC1 and XC2, considering the fact that we only have about 7 or 8 XC1 riders left after the war of attrition early on in this season. Many of these riders are XC2 250 Pro Class riders in this top 20 class. And as we said, there is Stu Baylor outside the top 20. And we got a visiting rider from out west, Travis Damon, racing his first GNCC from out of Arizona. Picking up the lead here, it is the 342 of Craig DeLong as we approach the infamous Howard's Hole. Not nearly as crazy as it is on ATV Day, but still, it has its challenges. As you'll see, there'll be many more people as we get closer to the heart of Howard's Hole itself, but very tricky area, lots of water, lots of mud, and some holes out there that can be very deceiving. We also see lots of tree roots, and we know what that means. All these combinations cause for not only rough conditions, but slick conditions as Jordan Ashburn going for an alternate line right there. Looks like the 178 Lyndon Snodgrass will latch on as well. Josh Toth getting by, some problems there was that the coastal racing ride of Ricky Russell having some issues getting out of that part of the track as well. So kind of tricky and touch and go on this first lap as we see a mix of XC1 and XC2 as we had mentioned, but we're also going to be looking at some of our Open A and 250 riders out there as they have worked their way close to the top 20 overall, and they're going to be starting up there on some of those front lines also, and this could get very exciting. There is our visiting rider Travis Damon, the 22 on his back out of Arizona. He's raced some works races out west. First time he races a GNCC race out east, he picks the roughest one of them all, that's for sure. As we pointed out, many of our amateur classes are out here with us in that fresh part of the race, so it's going to get exciting. Some of those guys could see themselves in the top 20 overall, so an exciting race day. Craig DeLong leads this one. Kenny, hang on, stick around to find out. Coverage of the Grand National Cross Country Championship on MAV TV is brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. Welcome back to GNCC on MAV TV, where Ricky Russell has taken the lead over from the 342 of Craig DeLong. DeLong now right on the rear fender of the 212 machine and stopping for just a moment. I don't know if he's looking for line instructions or what, but a little time lost there, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot to worry about. Both those riders actually seeming to open up quite a bit of a gap over the physical third place ride. And again, remember I say physical because time adjustment's going to play a big role here today. There's the number 3 of Jordan Ashburn, who is third place position, several seconds down right now. But hey, Jordan likes the mud, remember? He likes the rocks, he likes the mountains. And Jordan Ashburn, I know a lot of folks are looking for him to possibly pick up and win this championship this year. With the absence of Ben Kelly, it's reported that he will not be returning the rest of the season, so that one leaves it wide open as far as the title is concerned, but still a high likelihood that we could see Kelly win the championship and only competing in 6 rounds this season after winning those first 6. A lot's going to depend on what happens here the rest of the season. Ricky Russell, we saw on a big push there in Pennsylvania at the Mason-Dixon GNCC just a couple of weeks ago. But Jordan Ashburn, the consistency this rider has been, well, showing for several years is unparalleled. And if he can put together a couple of wins, it could be a pretty good combination for the number 3 machine, that Magnum One Motorsports machine. Further down the trail, Ricky Russell getting some assistance from that FMF KTM team, and it's kind of interesting and neat that these guys do kind of help each other out there. Now, in certain circumstances, they might be less likely to help and be as offering for the help, but on days like today especially, I want to keep the race flowing and keep it as fair as possible, and that's exactly what all teams try to do. Jordan Ashburn has closed the gap up just a little bit, and there is the now 4th place ride of Josh Toth, one of our New Englanders, and another rider that could fare very well here in the mountains of West Virginia. Wouldn't be surprising to see him not only on the box, but possibly in the center of the box, picking up where his teammate has kind of left off with his absence now. A lot of weight will be resting upon the 206's shoulders here the rest of the season with the absence of Ben Kelly in the number 1 plate. So it could get kind of tense there under the KTM tents. Well, Ashburn doing a great job of keeping those front 2 riders not far away. And here's an interesting point to ponder. Jordan Ashburn is yet to win an overall GNCC. There, by the way, is the 206 of Josh Toth we were just talking about. But as we were saying, Ashburn is yet to win a GNCC, and if he wins today, not only would it be his first ever win, it would also put him in the points lead heading into the summer break over Ben Kelly and set him up for the championship. So right now, Jordan Ashburn is in a pretty good position as far as 2022 goes. And a few other riders in pretty good positions right now. Jonathan Giroir actually checking in a third place overall position on time adjustments, but Ricky Russell not too worried about that right now. What he's worried about is Jordan Ashburn, whose aggression today is not only taking him past Craig DeLong, but is now taking him on the rear fender of the 212 of Russell. And on the FMF hill climb, they get together. Down goes Ashburn now, and Ricky Russell on his way to the top of this hill and headed to the pits and for a tire change. They went with a soft tire compound today in hopes of better traction, in knowing that they would probably and likely have to change the tire, and that's just exactly what they're going to have to do. So right now, with that little exchange on the FMF PowerPoint, Ricky Russell is hoping that is going to give him enough distance to get separated and give him that extra time that he's going to need to maintain the lead as Russell rolls into the pits now. Donnie Kelly, Russell's coastal racing mechanic, going to get that tire changed, something they've been practicing all week in anticipation of this exact moment. However, I have to wonder, did they practice in muddy conditions? You would have to think it'd be a little more difficult. May take a little bit of extra time. We'll see if DK can get it done. Well, I know there's got to be some tense times in the pits right now for everyone. You can see some onlookers, our friends from over at Phoenix Racing Honda, have been in these circumstances and situations with brake changes and things. They know how quickly things can go awry. Right now, Ricky Russell, pretty calm, cool, and collected. You can see he's a little antsy, wants to get back out front. Let's listen in and see how this pit stop breaks down. Well, it looks like Ricky was wanting those paper towels on the grip. He got a little bit frantic there, and they were trying, but may have came up a little short. We'll see if it causes him any problems. We'll check back in with him. Not really losing a lot of time as far as tire changes are concerned at this juncture of the race. Ricky Russell trying to get back out front now as Jordan Ashburn has found an opponent for that number one spot in Josh Toth, who has taken over the lead now as we check in with the many things that make GNCC what it is. And one of those is, of course, our new EMTB GNCC. It's electric mountain bike racing. And here at Snowshoe Mountain Resort, it is a kind of a nice home for mountain bikes, if you will. They do the World Championships here in the summertime, and here in the early spring, we're here with not only GNCC motorcycles and ATVs, but also with the specialized EMTB GNCC series, where Charlie Mullins once again finds pressure coming in from the challenger Nick Mackey out of Florida, former state champion out of the Sandy State and Sunshine State, of course. But believe it or not, he can ride in the mountains just as well as he can in the sand and sun as he takes the win over Charlie Mullins here at the Yamaha Racing Snowshoe GNCC. More after this. Coverage of the Grand National Cross Country Championship on MAV TV is brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. Back now at Snowshoe Mountain Resort in Snowshoe, West Virginia, where we once again have an opportunity for family fun and excitement for the little folks that also come out to the races. This week we had the Pledge of Allegiance being led by one of our GNCC Racing Nation youth, and that's what kicked things off here today for these youngsters ranging anywhere from about 2 years old to about 6 years old on these Strider and Stasic stability cycles. Stasic and KTM coming together to help bring this to all the kids, where we have well over 100 competitors at times, and even some of the pros kids get out there, like Bad Thad Duvall's Jacoby Duvall out there today. We also have seen in years past Caleb Russell, son Crew Russell, and many, many more of whom find themselves on 50 cc's and moving up into the youth ranks eventually. This is a great springboard for some of our younger riders and sometimes a good stress relief for guys like Stu Baylor, who's a big kid at heart, no doubt about it. Got his own son who's going to be out doing this real soon, I'm sure. But everybody out and having great times at Snowshoe Mountain Resort in our STACYC Stability Race and ePeewee Racing, brought to you by your friends at KTM as well. Jordan Ashburn back in command of this one after going back and forth with Josh Toth there for a couple of laps. Toth back in the number 7 position now, it looks like, as Jordan Ashburn and Russell nose to tail. Not far behind him is the 342, the rookie, and Craig DeLong on that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna machine. Whoa, there goes Grant Baylor. He's not far out of the running, and this is a pretty dangerous place for these other riders out there as well. And look at that. There is the youngster out of Arizona, Travis Damon, his first GNCC, and he's keeping pace with these boys here a little later in the race, it looks like. Jordan Ashburn and Ricky Russell choosing different lines through this section of the racetrack. You can see both riders want this win so much. Russell wants to get the roll going into the summer break. Jordan Ashburn wants his first win and to capture the points lead after this race day. It's got to be a nerve-wracking day. Not only are you racing guys head-to-head out there, but you don't know what's going on behind you. And lurking in the background, as always, starting back about row 5 or 6, was Stu Baylor back there. And he's not far out of the running either when you look at him physically on the racetrack right now. So this is starting to get a little bit exciting as far as the overall is concerned, and we motor our way toward the finish line. Russell still back there in the number 2 position as he is trying to track down Jordan Ashburn. Ashburn looks like a man on a mission today, not only to capture his first win, but like we said, to capture that points lead. And what kind of momentum that would hold if he can make that happen here today in the long 2-month summer break. Would be a lot of confidence building for that number 3 out of Tennessee as he rounds the final few turns here at Snowshoe. He's got the lead and the win at the checkers physically. We'll have to wait for just a few moments to see if that's going to hold up on time adjustments. As you know, he's excited to cross that finish line first, as here comes Ricky Russell now in the number 2 position. We'll see him crossing, and there he is. So Russell's there. Fist bumps. Both riders seeming very excited in their post-race bench racing session here at the finish line. But Jordan Ashburn getting some congratulations, but not celebrating yet. Jonathan Gerard, an XC2 rider starting a couple of rows back, is also in contention for the overall right now, waiting on the official word. And there it is. He's got the official word. He has got it. And team owner Chris Landers making his way down to congratulate Jordan Ashburn for his first ever overall win and new point leader for the 2022 Grand National Cross Country Series heading into the summer break.
Thank you. It's been a long time coming. I think this is my 10th year in XC1, and we've been looking for it for years. And we've really put it together this year and just been clicking off podiums. And we've been close so many times, and it just feels so good to get it, especially at this venue. I always like this track, and you know, me and Ricky, man, he had the lead all day, and I just was able to reel in the last lap, and it was an epic day. Like, conditions were unreal, and man, I'm so pumped.
Well, I tell you what, not only do you get your first win, but if my calculations are correct, this should put you in the points lead heading into this summer break and into the final 4 races of 2022.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate for Ben to go out like get hurt like he did earlier in the year, but you know, we knew what we could do, and these last 4 races we just knew we needed to be on the podium, and coming in today I needed a first or a second to try to take the points lead going into the rest of the season, and man, it feels so good to get the win and do that.
Well, congratulations to Jordan Ashburn and as well to Ricky Russell in his second place. Good tire strategy today. Looked like it almost paid off for the win, but definitely paid off huge to capture that second place position here at Snowshoe.
felt like I had that one, and that last lap I just made stupid mistakes and fell and couldn't hold on anymore. My hands were just slipping off the bars, and we were on one clay hill paddling up it, and me and Jordan collided, and I was stuck on top of him, and I got off him and then fell down the other side, and he took off, and from there I had to recover. I was kind of smoked just from paddling and struggling with the wet hands, so unfortunately let us slip away. We tried to give it the last push because I knew I was row 2 and he was row 1. I could get it within that 5 or 10 seconds or whatever, but too little too late. I was a little bit bummed, but can't be too upset with second. We've improved a lot this year, and it's showing, and I got to be happy too. So.
And I know one of the things that you guys had coming into this one was a tire strategy. Only one other rider had that tire strategy. They didn't change the tire, Josh Toth, and that's how you got back around him after your tire change.
Yeah, no doubt. Me and DK, we've been putting this together a little bit, and we practiced it quite a bit, and it wasn't muddy when we practiced it, so I think that held us up a little bit, but he did it good. He swapped it quick, and we only lost 30 seconds, and on a track like this, that's easy to make up when you have a good rubber. So that I think when I got to him, I knew. I was like, yep, I got a good tire, and he was struggling on some of the hills, so that was huge. I can't thank the team enough for making that happen.
Big day for a lot of riders, including Ashburn, now your point leader and first time ever overall winner. Ricky Russell in second, Jonathan Giroir third overall, but Stu Baylor third in class.
A little mistake there on that last lap, fell on a hill and got tangled with a lapper, couldn't go anywhere. Same hill that Caleb got me on for the lead a couple years ago, so a little bummer there, but all in all, good day. I'm happy with it. Thanks to everybody that was out there working hard. We had everything covered as far as pit strategy, just some places we need to focus on, and hell, I guess I can't say too much. I've been sitting on the couch, so these boys just better get ready because we're coming back hot after summer break.
Well, we know that Stu Baylor's more than capable of that, but we've got some hungry riders in the bid for this championship now, and the young rookie Craig DeLong may have had his struggles late in the race today, but he is showing great promise as this season wanes on. Jordan Ashburn trying for those early passes and actually working his way up to the front and staying in the front of the pack. It was Josh Toth who also made some push there about midway through the race on laps 3 and 4. Literally became the overall leader, but as time wore on, the war of attrition let it down to only the top 3 or 4. It was Ricky Russell and Jordan Ashburn basically going at it head-to-head. Stu Baylor and Jonathan Giroir from the XC2 250 Pro class going at it on the clock. Both riders a couple of rows back, Stu even further back, but physically on the racetrack, Jonathan had it, and not only physically, but also on time adjustment, just by a few seconds. Stu Baylor gets third in the class as far as the day is concerned, and I'll tell you, it was exciting as riders getting together several times today, and even our leaders having their struggles out there. Tire strategies becoming a big issue, paid huge dividends, and also cost a little bit of time at the same time. But all in all, a great day and a great way to end this long 9-race stretch in the early part of 2022. A lot of riders showing some hunger here as we head toward the end of the season and showing a lot of great promise, not only for the second half of the season, but the upcoming 2023 season as well. But a big congratulations going out to the number 3 Magna 1 Motorsports Husqvarna ride of Jordan Ashburn as he takes his first win and is now the points leader of the 2022 Brad National Cross Country Championship Series presented by Specialized. That's going to wrap things up here, at least for a couple of months. We'll be back in the fall to check things out. For more information, visit GNCCRacing.com. For all of us here at Racer TV on MAV TV, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.